host, Sarah Darsha. We're here at the Islamic Center talking to Muslims and non-Muslims about what Islam is. We hope that you enjoy the show today, and we hope that you learn something new about Islam. We're here with Imam Jamal Talib, the Imam of the Islamic Center of Southwestern Ontario. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Imam Jamal, talk to us a little bit about Islam. What is it? What is it exactly? And how we can come together as Muslims as a community.
Islam, the religion of submission to God, and being to submit to your God is for the betterment of someone's life and for the betterment of others as well. So therefore, when Muslims understand Islam appropriate manner and they learned about Islam, they contributed a lot to the humanity. And we can see, for example, in the field of physics and chemistry and mathematics, that we contributed a lot because we believed Islam as a submission to God is to discover yourself and to discover society around you to benefit those who need to be benefited. Because Islam mainly here is to build, and إعمار الأرض استعمركم فيها, as the Quran stated, استعمركم فيها is you're here, your job is here to build this humanity and build the humanity in all kind of building. So therefore, anything that's coming to destroy this image, this beautiful image of Islam, then it is not from Islam. So we need to understand that Islam is a religion who came with the first word of read. And the book Quran, the book itself, Quran, the meaning of the Quran in Arabic language, it was driven from the word read. So it's to discover. And when God tested Adam in the first time, he tested him about علم وعلم آدم الأسماء. علم آدم الأسماء in the Arabic language, Adam was tested because of his ilm, and he was respected by the angels because of his ilm. And even the angels, they said, how come you put on earth someone that they might mischief, and we're there to serve you and to have this devotion to you. So God tell them, with knowledge of Adam, that the earth will be built. So knowledge, book, pen, is what Islam is really focusing on.
And in light of, the different things that are happening around the world, how are Muslims supposed to react? How would the Prophet ﷺ, how would he have reacted, and how did he react in difficult times?
We always, in difficult time, we ask people to act wisely. The Prophet ﷺ, he was faced with many difficulties, and with some people also who understood Islam in wrong way. So, and he acted wisely. He taught those people what is the true Islam. And the story that we told in the ceremony today, it's about a man that he used to stand before people and he used to say, I'm following Islam and I'm a true Muslim. And at night when he goes to his home, he starts burning the fields of people and kill their animals. When this approached the Prophet ﷺ, he did not accept it. He said, this is not Islam. Islam is beliefs and is action. So, and he started teaching this man is a correct way, wisely. So the system of education is very important to rebuild. The fear is not gonna do anything, and maybe the enemies of humanity, whatever their names is they're creating this environment of fear, is people not to discover each other's, and instead of knowing one another, that they build this hate among people. And this is against the teaching of Islam. The teaching is Islam emphasizing of people knowing one another, build this trust among each others for the betterment of humanity, and to contribute back in any kind of in any methods of life back to the community. And this is the real worship in Islam, that we understand. If in a city, for example, like London, if there is no doctor, that the rest of the Muslims will be sinner. And if there is no engineer in the city of London, that the rest of the Muslims will be sinner, because our due. We have to Islamically, we have to cover these areas that serve people and cover the areas needed. So we have to have doctors, we have to have engineers. But those who are calling for the being civilians being targeted, and they're actually way from Islam. And I think they have mental problems, and they need some psychiatrist to look after them, because really it's not Islam at all.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Sheikh Jamad.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back with more of what Islam really is after this. We have Shaf with us. Welcome to the show, Shaf.
Hi, how are you, Sarah?
Shaf, talk to us a little bit about how you feel as a Muslim today. There's been some recent, negativity around Islam. Talk to me about what Islam means to you.
Well, first of all, Islam is, for the most part, it's really in line with the Canadian values. In light of the tragedies that did happen, there are a lot of benefits that come from these types of incidents. For one, I have a lot of friends that don't necessarily ask questions unless events happen. And despite the negative stuff, there's a lot of positive that comes from it. I think after the tragedies of November 11th, I'm pretty sure the rate of Islamic conversion actually went up. And there's people that really do want to learn more about the religion before they judge. So that is a little bit of a positive spun from a negative situation. And in terms of all the backlash that's happening, it is negative. But I think those people are negative in general to start with. I think the people in the average public and the nice people in general, they really do understand where our values are, where their neighbors. Again, we're very in line. That's one of the reasons why people want to come to Canada, is because it's not different than how we normally feel. The social welfare system is very much in line with our upbringing and our understanding of our religion. So it is very good in that sense. But again, we do feel bad for the tragedies, just like anyone else would feel bad for the tragedies.
Okay, and so how do you feel as Muslims we can come together as a community, be part of the larger, not only Muslim community, but even the London community as a whole?
I don't know if we haven't been doing that. I mean, everyone kind of lives their life according to the values that they grew up in Canada. You'll see a lot of Muslim people that are from different parts of the city that act differently. They're not necessarily acting the same because they're Muslim. They're acting the same because they're Canadian. And then their religion helps them with their values and helps them stay on course. And again, these are things that really do work well with the Canadian values in general. So to be Muslim and kind of act like that is not necessarily to act differently. So I think to keep our community, I mean, this brings us a little bit closer together because it does help us in terms of communicating, opening up any floodgates to maybe some stigma, like some negative misconceptions about Islam. So I think in that sense, open dialogue is good. Stuff like this is good. Reaching out to people, talking to each other in a sense of community rather than in a sense of secluded religious ideologies or religious mindset. I think just coming together, not knowing who's what religion, just having conversations, that really helps out. And if there are a lot of people watching, and I hope there is, I really urge people to ask Muslims questions on a daily basis, even stuff you think is controversial. For the most part, I prefer if you ask me and I can answer you like an adult or like a human being. We're not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere. If we communicate positively, then we can get past this and we have a better understanding of how each other thinks.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Islam to me is something that is very dear to my heart, and I don't like to look at it as just a religion, because it's a lot more than just a religion. Another thing about Islam that is really, really beautiful to me is the fact that there are no colors in Islam. There are no borders. Islam is a faith that lives in the heart, and because of that, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what color skin you are. And the only thing that differentiates us is the faith, the level of faith that we have in our hearts, and that's only known by Allah, by our Creator. So there's nothing that really from the outside that we really aren't supposed to differentiate between each other. You know, it's Allah's the only one that can do that, and that's only based on the level of faith that we have for Him. So.
And Osama, I have a question. So in light of the attacks that are happening around the world, I mean, it's a very tough time for Muslims. So what do you think, what are some things that we can do as Muslims to bring together our community, to work with the community? What do you think we should be doing?
That's a tough question. I think a result of what's happened and all the violence that's happening, unfortunately, it's giving a lot of non-Muslims the wrong image of Islam. And that's outside of the Muslim community. Within the Muslim community, the effect that's having upon us is Muslims are actually shying away from their religion. They're becoming more and more afraid to show that they're Muslims because they're afraid that they're going to be retaliated on. So I think it's very important that we stand together and support one another and reinforce our validity and our certainty within our faith. I think we have to know that Allah's watching everything. He's aware. He's fully aware of everything that's happening, and just like it's a test for the victims to these incidents, it's a test for us as well. You know, how true are we going to remain to our faith? The only way we can fight what's happening is to let people know that this is not Islam. Islam is not what it's not. Islam is peace.
And if you feel like the Prophet ﷺ was still here today, how do you think he would handle such difficult situations?
Oh boy. You know, subhanAllah, I think he would, if he was with us today, I think he would take the most non-violent approach to addressing the people. Just like in the sermon today, the Imam was talking and he was giving examples of how the Prophet, peace be upon him, dealt with certain situations where a large number of Muslims were killed unjustly, and how, you know, when one of the companions took revenge and killed two non-Muslims, the Prophet was very, very disappointed in that, and he taught us that that's not how we're supposed to deal with things. So the only thing I could say is I would imagine that he would be very non-violent and very peaceful in however way he wished to address the situation.
We'll be right back after this. We're here at the Reclaim Honor event happening at the London Muslim Mosque. I want you to come with me and we'll take a closer look at what it is.
As a community can help one another and set that example for anyone else outside of the Muslim community so that they can say this is what Islam is all about. Look at what the Muslim community is doing in order to address this issue, to set that ideal, to be the exemplar, to be the example, so that others can say that we want to walk in their footsteps.
Assalamualaikum. We're here with Dr. Munir Al-Qasim at the Reclaim Honor event. Welcome to the show, Dr. Munir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dr. Munir, tell me a little bit about why an event like this is important in the London Muslim community.
It's not only important in the Muslim community, it is important, period, because statistics show that a woman is physically abused every 9 seconds. And if we add to that psychological abuse and other forms of abuse, then it becomes an endemic that should attract our attention. And it is very important that the event, reclaim honor and promote honor, prevent violence, is initiated, conducted, and done by youth, meaning that the youth really are feeling that something in the previous generation has gone wrong, and they would like to initiate a solution for that. And they have done it in such a way that they had faith leaders, they had care providers, they had families come and talk about it. So it was very important for me to come forward and touch on this very important community issue that touches all families, and knowing that the family unit is the most important unit in any community, I wanted to contribute by saying something about it.
On the show, we're trying to kind of dispel myths about people have about Muslims. Now, the Reclaim Honor event, how do you think that's going to contribute to that?
Okay. See, people today read very little, but they watch a lot. And this is contributing to a distorted view and image of Islam. And people are looking globally and seeing a world that has gone mad. And, all the violence that is conducted in the name of this peaceful, great religion. And again, I know that somebody who heard me right now say peaceful might have shrugged and said, oh yeah, because people are seeing things, and instead of getting angry at people's reaction towards what they are seeing and hearing about, it is very important that we do something about it in a wise way. And in my speech, I did stress the importance of wisdom that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had to teach, among other things. So wisdom is very important in dealing with the issue and in dispelling all the myths that are associated with this religion. And as we say, these are myths, and we need to help people get the right picture about reality. Reality usually is covered by a layer of dust, and we are here to remove that layer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Munir.
Most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you.
We're going to go for a short break, and we'll be back right after this. We're here with Dr. Muhammad Baubaid. Welcome to the show, Dr. Muhammad.
Thank you very much. I'll see you again.
Dr. Muhammad, tell us a little bit about the event. Why did we have this event today?
I think that's part of the process of community awareness strategies that has been created by youth. And I think today we're going to really start a community conversation, a community dialogue on issues related to honor-related violence. And I think part of what we are trying to do really to develop some kind of community responses. So the community needs to be part of the solution and not just really to see them as part of the problem. And we're going to open a conversation and discussion and see what, for example, the community think about the whole issue. What, for example, do they think in terms of solutions, and how, for example, this project should go further. And I'm very excited. I see for the first time now, many people are coming here, men, women, youth, and very excited, and hopefully we will come up with some good results.
Why is it important for the Muslim community to come and participate in this event today?
Yeah, as was mentioned at the beginning, family violence is a universal problem. It's not really just within the Muslim community. And I think because we, within the Muslim community, started this campaign, I think maybe 14 years ago, and we have been really continuing engaging the community. So I think it's important for the Muslim community, first of all, to understand what the issue is, but also to recognize and to acknowledge that we have problems like many other communities, like any other communities. And family violence is a very, very complex problem, very dangerous. If we are not going to do something about it, it's going to impact not just the community, family, but also it's going to impact the community and everybody. So I think because of that, it's important that everybody in the community needs to be part of this wonderful initiative.
Talk to me a little bit about the team. So you have a group of youth working together. How do you feel that's beneficial to the Reclaim Honor initiative?
Our role at the Muslim Resource Center for Social Support Integration is to create a safe space. And I think, the uniqueness of this project is really youth-driven project from A to Z, really meaning They are the one who are define, what is the issue, how they want to, how they perceive it, the title of the project, and also really they are the one who has been creating the whole process: community awareness, capacity building, engaging mainstream services. I think it really showed me. I would really see that as a title for the future of our community, led by youth, to address issues that maybe usually in our community we're struggling with, and we don't know what to do about it. So I'm very hopeful, very optimistic, and very fortunate to be part of this youth energy.
Okay, a little bit off topic, Dr. Mohammed. We know you have taken place in a TED Talk in Yemen. So tell me a little bit about that. What was the experience like? And we're very, very proud of you. So tell me a little bit about that.
No, thank you very much for mentioning that. Yes, indeed. January 15, I was in Mukalla, Hadramaut in Yemen. And there was TEDx talk, TEDx Mukalla. It's very interesting also to see Hadrami and Yemeni youth actually organize everything from A to Z. And I was asked to share my experience, building bridges between different, groups, in particular in the context of family violence prevention and intervention. So I shared my experience, and we were about maybe 16 people. Hopefully, maybe soon it will be on YouTube with translation in 3 languages. So, yeah, it's a very humbling experience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed.
Thank you very much, and nice to see you again. Thank you.
We're here with Layla Al-Mawi. Welcome to the show, Layla.
Thank you for having me.
Layla, tell me a little bit about why you attended this event today.
This is a very important issue for me, and I feel as a Muslim community, we all need to participate in these events and contribute in forms of either support by coming or the discussions. So this is the second time they hold this event, and I'm really glad that this time around they're having discussion circles, especially with the older generations, especially with the mothers and whatnot. They don't really like the whole concept of speaking up and stuff. So I think it's really great. And if we, push each other nicely, respectfully, I think we can make a difference somehow. And the first step is always talking about these issues. And so gender-based violence, domestic violence doesn't have to happen. It's not necessary. And there are so many different ways of educating ourselves and just preventing these unfortunate circumstances. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Sarah Darsha. We'll see you next time.